websites are almost always built on software called a platform, which provides the basic structure and functionality of a site. A web designer chooses from the many platforms available, installs the software on a server, and then customizes the look and functionality. For many years, if you wanted to DIY your website, the top platform choice was WordPress. You would grab a free copy of their software, install it on a server, and then customize it. This works well enough for basic sites, especially blogs, but if you add too many plugins for extra functionality or plugins that don't play nicely together, you can easily end up with a slow and buggy site. Also, since WordPress is so popular and its plugins can be written by anyone in the community, security holes regularly open up, which attracts hackers. Unless you keep on top of the security updates that are released every few months and make sure any plugins you use to extend functionality are both safe and up to date, then you are vulnerable to attack. Now, these hackers aren't specifically targeting popular or controversial sites. They are targeting known WordPress vulnerabilities, hundreds of sites at a time. As soon as you install your WordPress site, you can see it getting scanned for vulnerabilities. The recent Panama Papers leak was actually accomplished through a vulnerable WordPress plugin on the legal firm's website. That's right. The Icelandic Prime Minister resigned. The UK Prime Minister was embarrassed, all thanks to a vulnerable WordPress plugin. So, using WordPress in the traditional way is really only an option if you're willing to stay on top of the security updates and you are careful about the plugins you choose to use. Obviously, there was a hole in the market for people who wanted to build a website without worrying about getting hacked or having to debug incompatible or buggy plugins. Several companies are aiming to fill that gap, including Wix, Weebly, Jimdo, and Squarespace. Of the four, I think Squarespace is the most powerful and user-friendly, and they have great customer service. Squarespace has secure, dedicated servers that are fine-tuned to deliver the Squarespace platform optimally. It's very unlikely your site will get hacked unless you have a weak password. You will never have to do any security or maintenance updates. There is some trade-off in the level of control you get with Squarespace. For example, you can't have separate captions and alt tags on your images, and you can't ever edit the source code directly. Also, if you do build your website on Squarespace, it's a lot of work to move to a different platform. They do have an export service, but you'll need to update the image links yourself, and you can't export blog pages or product pages. And if you are selling products or services through your site, you are tied to using Stripe as your payment processor, although you can get away with manually adding PayPal buttons if you only have a few products. Overall, I think Squarespace wins for security and ease of use. If you don't need any unusual functionality and you're happy using Stripe as a payment processor, then you'll save a lot of time and headaches by choosing Squarespace. However, if you want to have a membership site or a teaching platform, are on an extremely tight budget, or you want to have several products for sale using PayPal, then you should use WordPress. There are ways to take headaches out of having a WordPress site. The first is by using managed hosting, where your hosting provider updates your version of WordPress for you and actively guards against hackers. If you get hacked, they fix it for you. There are also paid-for themes, where the theme provider checks every plugin it recommends to make sure it will work properly with your site. If you're having trouble with your theme, support is usually very responsive. Now let's look at pricing. The WordPress software itself is free, but you'll need to buy a domain name and hosting. You'll also need to spend more time customizing it, searching forums for help, and updating WordPress itself every few months. So you're looking at a few extra hours of work before you get to the fun stuff. You also risk being hacked, which would take you a few hours to fix, or you can pay a professional to fix it for you. WordFence offers hacking recovery from $179. Dirt cheap WordPress hosting starts at $7.99 a month, but you're likely to have performance issues and security issues if you go with GoDaddy, Bluehost, or SiteGator. The best managed WordPress hosting is with SiteGround. Their plans start at $9.95 a month and include auto updates of WordPress and its plugins. You need to be careful though. Occasionally a plugin won't be kept up to date by its author, and WordPress will update to a version that is no longer compatible with it. But SiteGround always backs up your site before they upgrade, so you can just roll back to a version that works. Domain names range from free for .com through SiteGround or to $40 a year for a specialty extension like .coach, .cafe, or .academy. With Squarespace, you get a .com domain for free for your first year, or a specialty extension for a bit more. The plans start at $12 a month and include 20 pages and full e-commerce support. Their customer support usually responds within an hour, and there is an extensive knowledge base to search. Phew, that's a lot of info. Here's a summary. If you don't need any unusual functionality or a membership or online course site, and you live in a country where Stripe is supported, you will have more fun and fewer headaches if you go with Squarespace. If you want to utterly geek out and have total control over your website, and you don't mind doing quarterly security updates or paying for managed hosting, choose WordPress. And if you need a membership site, choose WordPress. They're both very good options, and it's mind-blowing how much easier it is to build a website now compared to when I started building them in 1999. Squarespace has a 2-week free trial, and SiteGround offers easy-to-install WordPress hosting with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try either platform out without committing. There will be tech trainings for both options in this course, and I'm happy to support you in either one. In the next module, we'll be setting up your website. Yay!